Howdy, y'all. This is Sith Scott from the Outer Haven, and I just want to talk a little bit about the upcoming sequel to the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi series that is now known as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Us at the Outer Haven were lucky enough to get invited to the Summer Games Fest, and during our time there, we got our hands on a demo build of the game. Before we get started, though, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to leave a comment at the end. Also, if you want to stay up to date on anything Dragon Ball Sparking Zero related, look up any of the newest articles we have on the Outer Haven. So, a little pre-disclaimer, the footage of this game that you see on the screen is from the demo build that was at the Summer Games Fest. This may not be indicative of the full game on release, it may be different, but odds are there's not going to be a whole lot different because the game is already extremely polished from what I was able to play. And before we get to it, thank you Bandai Namco for letting us take a look at it while we were there. It means a lot to us. So a lot of what I got to play was basically just the gameplay. One thing you may notice is that there is only 3 characters because the demo build only had up to 3 characters you could have as your allies and 3 characters you could have as your enemies. Now, if you're familiar with the Budokai Tenkaichi series, you might already notice that this type of gameplay looks very familiar. That's because a lot of the mechanics that we have from Budokai Tenkaichi make a return here. We have the vanishing attacks, we have key charges, we have key abilities, we got supers, we got strike supers, we got the whole 9 yards. We even have the sparking mode, which obviously makes sense because we're finally getting the Japanese name of sparking here in the West. One thing that I find interesting is in this that we didn't have in the Budokai Tenkaichi series is there is now an auto or semi-automatic control scheme that helps you have accessibility options. So these actually help determine how much combos the game will do or how much you can actually have control over the buttons you press. Odds are, if you're someone who is big in the Budokai Tenkaichi series, you probably don't want an automatic or semi-automatic control scheme. That's fine. You can do custom, turn everything off, and you can just play the game normally. It may not be the best way to do it in case you are coming up on harder enemies, but it does help you if you think that the game gets too easy or if you think that it's doing things you don't want it to do. So, Spike Chunsoft, the developers of this game, made sure that if you're fans of the old game, you can turn off all the accessibility options, you can play it just as it was. Or, those of you who are new fans who aren't really sure how to play the game can turn some of these accessibility options on, get semi-automatic control schemes, or just have automatic control schemes. You can press like 2 full buttons and just the entire game will do everything for you kind of a deal. And you just want to experience the glory of being behind the face of any of these characters. One thing I do note is if you're looking at the screen now, the heads-up display has not really made a significant change from when we got a gameplay showcase of this game months earlier. The user interface includes a normal health bar, key bar, skill point number, a transformation available number. That's what that little white bluish bubble underneath the key bar is. You can see a little 1 or a 2, and it will be like, this is how many transformations your character has. If you're already transformed, you'll already have 1, because the 1 transformation you'll have is going to be reverting to a previous transformation. And anything you can have after that, you can go from Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2. You can go from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God if you're Goku. Obviously, there's no one else who can go from Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan God. Sorry, Vegeta. But one thing that the trailers did not show, or maybe I just didn't catch them in the trailers when I remember watching them, is when you go into sparking mode in certain maps, you actually get to see the entire environment of the area you are in change. You'll see more air dynamics. You'll see sometimes even like little twist tornadoes that kind of come off your character, and it turns everything into a more blackish scenario in the place that you're at. So sparking mode, in case you aren't aware, is when you max out your key gauge and you keep overcharging it until that blue bar goes all the way full. And when you do get that key charge, the sparking mode allows you to perform an ultimate super skill. Ultimate super skills obviously are different for every character. Goku has a variety of different spirit bombs in this one. You can have the Buu Saga spirit bomb. You can even have a spirit bomb that was supposed to be what Jiren had. But, you know, that didn't work out well for Goku, but it works a lot better here. So in Sparking mode, you are able to do infinite comboing. You can do infinite dashing. That's similar to how you could do it in the Budokai Tenkaichi series. That didn't change. And honestly, I'm glad it didn't. It was one of the best parts of Sparking mode is just having infinite combos, being able to do as many hits you can do without having to worry. When you are using a normal key attack, you can mix and match your combos. Light attacks to a key attack will then basically be a harder attack that will allow you to combo into a different combination of moves and attacks. And that gives you a big variety of how you can play the game, so you're not just pressing the same button over and over again. I mean, you can still kind of have a variation of where you have the same combos. I always have a big problem with that, where I would do a normal hit, and then I'd go to an up and a key attack, which, when that happens, if you do it in the right timing, your character will give a giant kick to the enemy that will then allow you to teleport behind them or teleport in front of them, do a bunch more hits, and then push them back down on the ground. I always liked doing that because it reminded me of the show, because that was one of the things that a lot of characters will do is they'll hit someone in the air, and then they'll go in front of them, and then they'll hit them back down. So I loved always doing that in the games because it reminded me of that, and that does make an appearance here. Honestly, a very great thing to do is having a game that makes you feel like you are playing the anime. This absolutely does. They also have different ways of showing the camera, and it's very dynamic. It shows very well just how much technology has advanced from the Budokai Tenkaichi series. Things were a lot slower on the PS2 Wii era, but it didn't really feel that way because of how fluid the game felt when you played it. Now we have the speed, still with the same fluidity that Budokai Tenkaichi series has, and it allows you to dodge things a lot quicker. It also allows enemies to dodge things a lot quicker too, though, so you have to make sure that you're keeping yourselves on your toes. Overall, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is going to be a game to keep your eyes on. It plays extremely well, and the gameplay is about as good as I remember it from the old days of Budokai Tenkaichi. The game itself will be coming out October 11th, 2024, on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S, as well as for the first time in the Budokai Tenkaichi series on PC. With that, I hope you all have a great day, and just remember, October isn't that far away. Just keep on pushing forward.